Joining me now, Democratic strategist and former advisor to the Obama campaign, Amisha Cross, and Brendan Buck, MSNBC political analyst and former press secretary to House Speaker John Boehner. Good to see you both. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. But I'm going to begin with you here, Amisha. I'm curious your take on this new progressive Dem strategy being floated of holding Trump's feet to the fire on some of these issues. And then what are the potential drawbacks?
Well, I think that no matter who gets elected, the other party is always poised to hold their feet to the fire. That's kind of how it goes. But I do think that the voting electorate shouted resoundingly that they want to have a better economy. They want their dollar to go further. They want to be able to feed their kids and not worry about getting their electricity cut off. They want to have access to, better health care. At the end of the day, Donald Trump, I do think that he doesn't have a mandate based on votes, but he has a mandate based on policy. And a lot of the policies that American people want to see are progressive. And to his credit, on the campaign trail, he talked about the economy day in and day out. He tried to elevate it. And I think that some of the answers and responses to that, Democrats are very rightfully lying squarely at his lap and saying, hey, this is what the people wanted. Are you going to put, your money where your mouth is when it comes to getting these things done? But in addition to that, if he gets in and shape shifts, they're standing ready to call him out on those things as well. I think it's a smart play.
Okay. So this change in strategy, Brendan, that we're talking about now, it comes after years of Dems resisting Trump, which, of course, ended with him just returning to the White House. Does this approach honor the voting public's demand for change, but does it still hold Trump accountable?
Perhaps. I think if their plan is to potentially work with Donald Trump, they're going to be waiting a long time to find anything. I don't imagine there's going to be a lot of bipartisan lawmaking on Donald Trump's agenda. This feels like they're overthinking it a little bit. Here's what's going to happen. Donald Trump is going to see himself as having a mandate and overreach. Every president overreaches. Every new Congress overreaches. And it always ends up blowing up in their face. I think it's that simple. The politics don't need to be too complicated here. Sure, if Donald Trump all of a sudden becomes this progressive populist in their mold, that's great for them. I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't know that they need to really think that they need to get too complicated in calling him out if he doesn't. He's probably going to engage in a level of tariffs that could be really destructive to the economy and raise prices. He's probably going to overreach in his immigration enforcement, which, if done correctly, could be popular, but he doesn't really understand how to do things correctly. I think that's the most likely path for Democrats to come back. Simple overreach, because that's what history has showed us happens time and time again, no matter who's in charge.
So, Misha, Democrats argue as Trump's lead in the popular vote shrinks, it challenges his claim that the American people have given him a mandate. Do most Americans really endorse his plans to overhaul government and implement sweeping change?
So I think that in the narrative, Democrats are splitting hairs here. I don't think the average American cares how much of the popular vote he won. They just constituted as he won the popular vote and they let the rest go. Donald Trump is seeing the presidency, the House, and the Senate as a mandate because Republicans are in control of all of them. He's also seeing state legislatures across the country, the majority of those controlled by Republicans as well. Does this mean sweeping change will happen? I agree with what we just heard from Brendan a few moments ago. I think that Trump is going to issue a lot of things in overreach, particularly that on immigration, but several other things as well that will shoot up the costs for everyday Americans, in addition to overreach in the states. We're going to see, cases come up. We're going to see Democrats fight many legal battles on a front that I think is the last one that they have in this case, just because of Republican leadership. We're going to see a lot of this, infighting in the courts. And Donald Trump is going to be true to himself. He's somebody who likes to push things too far. We've seen this time and time again, and I don't think that that's going to change with this cycle either. He just now has, within, at least in the interim, we don't know what's going to happen in midterms. This election we just got over a few weeks ago. We're going to see him posturing towards doing some really big things really fast, and with that comes a lot of change swiftly. And I don't know that the American public is going to stand back and stand by and get excited about those changes, especially if they feel them at their wallet first.
Brendan, Elon Musk, are we getting a clearer sense of what his role will be in the incoming administration, or is it just getting cloudier? Because he seems to have a say or be at least participating in a lot more than just the new Department of Government Efficiency as he was originally slated for.
Yeah, look, as it relates to the Department of Government Efficiency, as they're calling it, I appreciate the spirit of what they're doing. I think there's a lot of people who think that government's too big and we should find ways to root out waste, and that's great. It's not so simple, though. And the problem here with Elon Musk is he's a obvious novice to all of this. It's very clear that he's looking at a lot of these issues for the very first time, perhaps in the last few weeks. And now the new president is empowering him with a lot of things. I think it's very easy to look at this and sort of laugh it off. Look, he named it this committee or whatever it is after an internet meme, Doge. He doesn't seem himself to be taking it too seriously. At the same time, not a lot of us took Donald Trump very seriously early on, and look at where we are now. So I don't think that we should just laugh off whatever role Elon Musk has this year. I think he seems, at least at the moment, very passionately dug into this, and we should watch very closely what he does, whether that relates to conflicts of interest that he may have, or simply bad ideas because he doesn't understand the policies that he's playing in. But it sounds like there's a Congress, in the House at least, that is very interested in being a partner with his. So it could take a lot more, could become a much more significant, role for him and Congress than perhaps a lot of people appreciated.
Yeah, and I think we're going to add to how long he stays in it. We'll see about that, too. So, Misha, as we stick with Musk, during a midweek post on his X platform, he accused Trump impeachment witness Alexander Vindman of treason and suggested, quote, he will pay the appropriate penalty. I mean, it seems like there is no limit to his reach in the Trump universe right now. How dangerous a problem can this present, giving him sort of an unbridled sense of power at this point?
Very dangerous. This is a guy who's the wealthiest man in the world, who also now extends that to power. Wealth is nothing if it doesn't also include a significant amount of power. He is sitting at the right hand of Donald Trump when we're talking about some of the meetings that he's having with foreign leaders at Mar-a-Lago. This is a guy who was up in the middle of the night doxing people who happen to be career civil servants. This is a guy who is on his own retribution tour. I think that it matters because Elon Musk just got a whole lot more powerful, and he and Trump, I think that they're going to clash at some point because two extremely powerful people typically don't get along that well for very long. And Trump doesn't like to at least have himself look like he's being puppeteered, which I think Elon is trying to do in some senses. At this point, we're watching Elon Musk basically put a target on the backs of people he does not like. When Vindman was actually testifying, he didn't like him then either and tweeted out a whole bunch of crazy things. And at this point, I think that now that the cases against Donald Trump have all magically gone away, he is going to utilize his voice and his X to make sure that he is attacking those who he feels like went against Donald Trump, specifically when it came to January 6th.
Okay, Amisha Cross and Brendan Buck, thank you guys. Good to see you.